Good evening, brothers and sisters.
Good evening.
It is good to be here, especially today in the midst of our distinguished guests that we have in our house, and as Paul said, our extended family. Thank you for being here. We are celebrating the second Sunday of Ordinary Time, and we are already starting the third week of 2017. Time is flying, it seems to me. And it is easy for us as human beings to just to run all the time and not take the time to slow down, to fully live and enjoy each moment of our lives. And I think that same can be true in our liturgical life of the church. So we just finished Christmas, and it seems to me that Christmas could simply be another religious celebration that is part of life and simply a routine activity during the year. So the season ends, and many people just move back to regular and routine style of life until Christmas comes back again. And I was like that. I used to be like that. And thank God this past Christmas was different for me. I was able to be present to Christmas, and I felt that God gave me the grace of letting the mystery of the Incarnation touch more deeply into my being. I felt that this Christmas has started in me like some kind of transformation, just like another step in my conversion process. And with the mystery of the Incarnation, I just feel that like Christ has burst into my being. So I just feel the need to keep going back, to keep reflecting on the Incarnation. And as I was reflecting it and keep reflecting, it comes to me St. Ignatius of Loyola, one of his sayings that he said, "No el mucho saber harta y satisface el ánima, sino el gustar y sentir las cosas internamente," which means, or it's not knowing much, but realizing and relishing things interiorly that contents and satisfy the soul. So it is beautiful that we still have the scene of the crib here in our chapel, because it just keeps fresh in our minds that mystery. And if we do not ignore it, so we have it here in our chapel, the miracle of Christmas can be just keep alive in our heart, and we can keep sharing that joy with society. So one of the invitations that I just want to make to you tonight is that you keep extracting the juice of the graces that you receive at Christmas, so that you deepen your life, your relationship with God. I have been doing that, and it has been very fruitful, especially as I was preparing to give this reflection. It seems to me that the reading today are very connected with Christmas, because they bring us back to the Incarnation. You know, that reality that Jesus, the second person of the Trinity, became a human being using the same means that allow you and me to develop as a human person. And I mean that just Jesus could have been incarnated in a mature, young Jewish man and started his work of redemption. But Jesus did not do that. Instead, he decided to be conceived in the womb of a poor young virgin. He was 9 months in that blessed womb, was born in a cave, and went through all those biological changes that you and I have going through. And similarly, Jesus had grown in virtue as you and I. He learned in the school of Mary and Joseph and his community. In other words, Jesus just developed as a human being. Did not happen all of a sudden or like a superhuman being. He had to work hard, just like our guests today here with us work hard for us in our house. And I think that Jesus had also to discern his vocation. I think that probably many times In his discerning process, Jesus prayed over the responsorial psalm for today's Mass, Psalm 40. Now I imagine Jesus in his house, or maybe in the beauty of creation, or in the synagogue praying Psalm 40. And he's slowly praying, I have waited for the Lord, and he stooped toward me and heard my cry. From that psalm, I believe Jesus strengthened his listening skills. He developed awareness, became more open, obedient, and passionate, and decisive to do God's will, to give up all of his life for God's kingdom. And eventually, as the gospel presented today, Jesus decided to go to the Jordan River to be baptized by John in order to start his public ministry. So my dear brothers and sisters, we can conclude from this, from reflecting on Jesus, the humanity of Jesus, that genuine life in the Lord takes place in steps. It happens slowly. It requires that we wait and that we are patient. It requires us, Teilhard de Chardin, a Jesuit, prayed that we as human beings need to trust in this Lord work of God. So I have two questions for you that I invite you that you reflect today or whenever you want. In which part of your life do you find yourself like hurrying up? Which realities in your life bring you anxiety and maybe uncertainty? Talk about those realities with Jesus, who, as the letter of the Hebrews said yesterday, was able to sympathize with our weaknesses, because while physical on earth, he experienced all the realities of the human being and thus has similarly been tested in every way, yet without sin. So brothers and sisters, just let us learn from Jesus' example of patience, obedience, and trust. Let us put our life in God's hands by asking him for the courage, wisdom, and desire to face our challenges. Also to have the patience and acceptance of the challenges that we will not be able to resolve in our life. Trusting that God is acting somehow through all of them, because we worship a God that wants only the very best for ourselves. Amen.
Amen. Amen.